I think this is going to be one of the best shooting courses ever made. I'm so excited to do this. I'm happy that you're here and you're watching this. I don't want to waste a ton of time on the intro, but man, I think this is going to be really beneficial for you that you're watching this. I think this is going to take your shot to the next level if you actually do it and implement it and do the reps. I've seen it over and over. I've taught a lot of players. I have experience coaching professionals, college players, high school, middle school, elementary, kindergarten, whatever. I've coached all of it, all right? And so these things that I'm gonna go over is what I believe to be the base, or like the fundamentals of shooting. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, everyone has to know these things to become a great shooter. And if you ever watch like the NBA and you wonder, man, why are these guys so good at shooting? Like, how can they shoot so far? It's because of the things I'm gonna be teaching in this course. And if you're ever questioning why someone can't shoot after their 7th year in the league, it's because they don't do any of these things. They don't want to practice it, all right? They don't want to start from 0 and go to 100. Every number, like 1, 2, 3, go through every step. You got to go through all the steps. So through this course, I want to make a point to, I'm not going to give you the amount of reps that you need. Everyone is different. People learn at different speeds. And so all I'm going to say is, it just depends on how good you want to be. So if you want to be all time, you have to have ridiculous amount of reps. Like, I used to do 100 swishes or whatever it was before I would do anything else that involved shooting, every time I would go outside and shoot. So most people don't do that, but I mean, if you want to be a professional level, that's what you got to do. This course is going to be really beneficial, and I advise you to take your time. Try not to skip any of the steps. Just go through the course and do all the reps before you go on to the next lesson. And like how I would do it, if you really, really want to get the most out of this, is I wouldn't go on to the next lesson until you are 100% comfortable with the lesson you're at, or at least in the 90 percentile. You know what I mean? So like, I wouldn't go straight from form shooting with no ball into just like doing a bunch of moves into your shot. So I wouldn't advise that. But without further ado, let's get into the course. Welcome to the first lesson. What we're going to talk about in this one is just basic form shooting. You do not need a basketball for this. All you need is your body and some space where you can reach your arms all the way up without hitting anything. All right? So what I'm going to talk about in this, this is going to break one of the myths that you've learned. And this is going to get you completely comfortable in your shooting motion, all right? So first thing I want you to do is put your feet about shoulders width apart. Some people like a little bit closer. I know I put mine a little bit closer just naturally. Some people are wide like Klay Thompson. You know, Steph Curry has his feet closer together. But you don't want to be too wide like this, or you don't want to be like your feet touching. That's just not good balance. And so once you find like a comfortable distance between your feet, I want you to go into like a shooting motion, all right? Like, hold your arm up like you're about to shoot a basketball, and how it's gonna look, right? It's gonna look just like this, okay? It's almost a 90-degree angle here. Doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of whatever comfortable, but you don't want it like way back or anything, or like, you know, something forward. You don't want anything like that, all right? So what you want is something just like this, all right? It's making a nice 90-degree angle, and you want your hand like it's underneath the basketball, right? You don't want it like this. You want your hand underneath so you have leverage to shoot it. So we'll do that while you're completely square. And what you're gonna notice is there's a ton of tension in your shoulders, right? So if your feet are perfectly square, you're gonna feel a lot of tension, right? Almost like you're doing a shoulder workout. Now, to release this tension, you're gonna have to break one of the myths that a lot of people teach, which is being square. I think that's not the right way to shoot. I've seen Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, all these guys, man, they're really good shooters. Their feet are not completely square when they're letting the ball go, okay? So what you wanna do, keep them square and have them a little bit at an angle, okay? I like my angle a little bit like this. So like if I'm facing the basket behind me, you can see that my feet aren't, like if there's a basket in front of me, my feet are not completely facing it, right? It's almost at this angle. And I bring my right foot in front of my left foot just a little bit. And if you're a lefty, turn the other way. So you want your feet to be dominant. You want your left shoulder to be close to the basket, and your other shoulder is the back. And it'll be the opposite if you're lefty, right? So what I want you to do is find that stance and then go back into the shooting motion, all right? You're gonna feel the tension has gone away, right? Your shoulder's not as tight. It doesn't feel like you're like holding something heavy. It's gone away. And you wanna be completely relaxed when you're shooting it. So like if you've ever watched NBA players, like really good shooters, like Steph Curry and those guys, they're super relaxed. It almost looks like it's effortless. Like they're just flicking it up there and they're just chilling and they're just hitting all net every time. It's because there's no tension in their body, right? They have a stance to where they're completely comfortable. And so that's what this is working on. Once you find that stance for you, get into the shooting motion right here. And where I like to have your hands, like if you were to have the ball, I say about eyebrow level. Some people go like slightly lower, some people are higher. I know mine when I shoot. Like I shoot up high like this. Like I'm a high point shooter like Kobe or something like that. That's what kind of shooter I am. But it comes down to comfort. And most people that are high point shooters have longer arms, I've noticed. So like if you're a one motion shooter and you shoot from about right here, most people that do that have really short arms. And so it's not about, there's no perfect shot, right? There's no two people in the world that have the exact same shot. So you have to find something that's comfortable for you, and just figure it out. You know, it's going to take some tweaking, some figuring out, some practicing just to see, okay, this isn't comfortable in just a little bit, right? And so it doesn't have to be completely to the right side, you know, it doesn't have to be like perfect. Some people are up high, some people are more over in the middle, some people are lower middle. There's just a range right here where you can hold the ball, right? And so you got to find where in that range is comfortable for you. So that's what I always say. It's about comfortability. It's not about looking perfect, right? So once you find that, the next part is actually doing form shots, okay? And so if I get closer up right here, I'm going to show you what a form shot looks like with your upper body, okay? So upper body wise, you want to focus on the release, right? So I'll scoot out a little bit so you can see the entire follow through, right? So with my right arm, I'm going to get my stance, I'm going to bend my knees. Now when I hold my follow through, you see my fingertips are down, right? Pointing down. That means you have good touch, all right? Shooting is about touch, okay? It's just off the edge of your fingertips. And when you're shooting, we're going to talk about this more, you want it to go off these two fingers, one of the two. I say pointer finger because if you hold your arm completely straight and your fingers are spread apart, you'll notice that the pointer one is the only one that goes straight. So if you were to shoot it and it comes off your pointer finger, it's going to go straight every single time, right? Some people do the middle finger just because it's more comfortable. Some people do both of them. It kind of depends up to you. But if you're a first-time shooter, I would say pointer finger, okay? Shout out to Paul Hoover for that one. Now, once you get comfortable with that, this is going to be, your goal is to have a completely straight elbow and gooseneck, right? It's almost like you're reaching up and you're trying to grab something off the fridge in the top of the jar, you know, something like that. And that's how you want to end, right? And with that comes the legs, right? So I'll back up so you can see my legs. Now, when I'm bent in my stance, I'll scoot in a little bit so you can see. When I'm bending in my stance, all right, you want to come up on your toes as you're letting go. All right, this is where the energy is going to come from. Okay, that your energy is coming from the legs. That's where you're shooting. So you don't want to use your upper body just pushing up shots. It's going to hurt your arms. It's going to get tired fast, right? And so your legs, you want it to be one smooth motion. It's almost like there's energy like coming from your feet all the way through your body to the arms, all the way through your fingertips when you're letting go. All right. And so I learned that from Ray Allen. Ray Allen says it feels like the ball is part of your body. So as your body's coming up, so is the ball. At the end is where you're going to be on your toes, okay? Or when you're realistically shooting like from distance, you're going to be jumping, right? So once you got your stance down, we're going to focus on putting all of that together, all right? You can do your arm a little bit by itself if you want to, until you feel comfortable with the follow through. You can do the legs by itself until you feel comfortable doing this, like bending your knees and then coming up on your toes, and then you want to put it together, right? So putting it together, you're going to start knees bent, and you don't have to be like super low. You don't have to, it's kind of like whatever's the quickest way and most comfortable way. Again, shooting is about comfort. You're going to hear me say that over and over, right? So when you're bending your knees, I want you to start here, take the energy from your feet and let it flow through your body and end with the follow through up on your toes like I just did, right? And you don't have to stay on your toes for a very long time. Once you release, you can come back down, okay? So start here, get your arm stance, whatever your hand's comfortable, flick, follow through, okay? And you just gotta use your imagination like you have a ball almost. Flick, follow through, all right? So now that you got the premise of all of that, make sure you're coming up on your toes, make sure it's one smooth motion, you know, and bring the ball up early, all right? You don't wanna bring it up too late, because if I have the ball and I do this, and then, you know, it's gonna be a lot of upper body force by that point, right? But you also don't wanna bring it up too early like you're doing this, all right? You don't wanna do that as well. You wanna make it one smooth motion, so when you catch it, you know, you're just going up, bam, right there, all right? Now, once you get good at starting from here, then you can start from here. So I have your hand facing forward, because when you catch a ball, you're gonna be like this, right? So have your hand just like this, bend your knees, and try to make it one smooth motion, right? So have your hand facing out, bend your knees, bam, just like that. All right, so like you're catching it and then you're going up into a shot, right? So you just wanna do that one-handed. Right now we're focusing on one hand. As the steps progress, we're gonna get into two hands and more different drills and things like that. But practice this until you feel comfortable, and then I'll see you in the next phase. All right, welcome to the next part. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna do everything that we just did in the last part, but with a ball, all right? So in this one, we're not gonna be shooting at a basket yet. You can do this in just open space. You can go in the backyard and do this, it doesn't even matter. As long as you have enough space for the ball to go up in the air and come back down, doesn't matter. You don't even gotta dribble, all right? So, what you wanna do for this, okay? How we're gonna start is exactly how we did in the last scene. Now that you're comfortable, hopefully, doing all of that stuff, we can add the basketball in, okay? First thing I wanna talk about is hand positioning, okay, on the basketball. So, you want your fingers pretty spread apart, all right? So then you have good control. And naturally, you're gonna have this little space right here if your hands are spread apart. Some people say you have to have it. I don't think you have to. I think it's just a natural part of having good grip on the ball, okay? But you don't wanna like grab the ball. So there's a delicate balance between grabbing and just letting it rest. It's like it's like in between. So you gotta find the perfect way to hold the basketball, okay? So, and this is gonna take some practice. So what I would do, first off, before anything, is I'll get in your stance, okay? So I'll back up so you can see my full stance. I'm gonna get in my stance, I'm gonna tilt my feet a little bit. This is comfortable for me. And I'm just gonna hold the ball, all right? You have to be able to hold the ball wherever you want. If you're a high point shooter, to the side, you know, a little bit more middle, you have to be able to hold the ball without losing it, all right? And this is tough for some kids. I know a lot of my students, when I tell them to do this, it's like they're like falling all over the place, and then they just try to get it up there. You got to be able to hold it the whole time without losing the ball. Now, it's tough because your hands are small, right? So if your hands are smaller, then you have to find an even better place to hold the ball. It has to be absolutely perfect. But me, I have big hands, luckily, so I can just hold the ball. You know, I can palm it out if I want to. I can hold it down. It doesn't matter. I know I dropped it, you know. I'm keeping all this too. Like, this course ain't gonna be like shot perfectly. I just want it to be raw and real teaching, so you guys know, like, I'm a real person. I'll make mistakes through this course, and it's okay to make mistakes, all right? As long as you're learning. So, once you get your stance going, bend your knees, okay? And I'll back up so you can see my full stance. And just hold the ball, and hopefully you should be able to hold the ball for at least 10, 20 seconds. Once you get into that range, you can basically hold it all day until you're tired, right? So hold the ball until you feel like you're not gonna lose it no matter what. Like, you can move it back and forth, not gonna lose it, not gonna lose it, right? And we're gonna do everything that we just practiced with the ball. And when you release it up and let it drop down like a rainbow, all right? You don't wanna be shooting it straight, because in a basketball rim, you can fit two basketballs right next to each other in the rim, okay? And so when you shoot it up and let it drop in, there's more space for it to drop in, right? So like, you can even like even if you go in the kitchen and you grab a cup and you're sitting on a chair and the cup is on a counter, it's like this level. Trying to throw that thing straight and get it in the cup, it's not gonna go in. But if you lob it and let it drop in, it has a better chance of going in, right? Same thing with the basketball, all right? So what you wanna do is get in your stance, bend your knees. Now remember everything that we worked on, right? Form, touch, follow through, and fingertips, okay? You want it to come off either your pointer or your middle finger, all right? One of those two. Do not let it come off of one of these or this, because when you point your hands completely straight, it's the only ones that are going straight, pointer, and middle finger is the next closest, right? So make sure you have good hand positioning. You know, I'll show you all angles of my hand positioning so you can see, right? Just like this, that's how I'm holding the ball. My hand's underneath it. I have good leverage so I can let it go, okay? So with all of that, we're gonna do our first form shots with the ball, okay? So you're gonna be here, hold it wherever's comfortable, and you're just gonna flick it in one motion, let it drop down. And now what I want you to do is hold the ball, or hold your follow through until the ball hits the ground twice. So once you hear 2 bounces, then you can go get the ball, all right? And you wanna think on every single rep, okay, what did I do right? Did I do this right with my legs? Did I go up too early? Did I bring my arms up too early? Think about all those things we talked about, okay? And adjust yourself every time. So you can say, okay, I didn't hold my follow through long enough, so on this one, I'll make sure I hold it. I go up, flick it, 1, 2, go get it. All right, and you're gonna do these over and over and over until you feel like it's comfortable. All right, and you don't worry about making sure it's completely straight. Just make sure it feels right, okay? Make sure it feels right. When it feels like it's coming off your hands right, that's when it goes in. As a shooter, shooters can tell when the ball's about to go in, right? Have you ever seen Steph Curry shoot a jumper and then he turns around and swishes, he didn't even look at it? It's because he knew the way it came off his hand that it was going in. It felt perfect, right? So you want to get that feeling of, okay, this feels perfect to me, right? So do that. I don't know how many reps it's going to take for you. Some of you, 100 reps is good. Some of you, 1,000 reps you're going to need. And this isn't something that you do once, and once you get it down, it's over, right? This is something that you're always going to practice. This should be, honestly, the first thing you do before you should ever shoot in the gym. So you should walk in the gym, you're like, bet, I'm about to work on my form. You can be standing in the middle of the court. People are going to be like, what is this weirdo doing? You're just shooting, no basket in sight. You're just letting it fly, right? But you're working on your form, your touch, all right? I guarantee you when Steph Curry walks in this gym, or Klay Thompson, or Kevin Durant, or somebody like that, Devin Booker, they walk up to that rim and they start doing form shots, all right? They just go up there, start doing their form shots. So this stuff is very important if you want to become a great shooter, okay? So what I want you to do is just focus on everything that we practice, right? Just make sure it feels perfect for you, all right? And don't forget about the energy flowing from your legs all the way through. The ball is part of your body, all right? And you just want to practice that over and over and over until you feel like, okay, I think I can do this. I think I'm good at this, right? And don't worry about the height on it. Just make sure it's coming off good. Give it some height. Don't just do like this, okay? Give it some height. Give it a little bit of leg power. But don't worry about if it's like touching the ceiling or anything like that. Just do couple smooth ones. Just let it go, all right? Let it bounce twice, go get it. So practice that until you feel 100% comfortable, and then I will see you in the next phase. All right, so now we're near the basket, but we're not shooting it in the basket yet. And this is something you can do against a wall. It has to be a swim out high wall, hopefully 12 feet is pretty good. And we're just gonna work on our flips, okay? And what flips are is basically what we were just doing, but these are backboard flips, okay? And the goal of this is to hit the backboard on the way down, all right? That means you have good touch. That means that you have good arc on your shot and you have pretty good form, right? So what this is gonna look like, you're gonna get pretty close to the basket. You're gonna have to try to judge the distance yourself. I'm about 1 step away from being underneath. So if I'm right underneath it, I'll go about right here. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna do everything that we just did, right? You're gonna get in your stance. All right, you can't see my feet in this one because I want you to see how my ball is hitting the backboard. But get in your stance, right? Your shooting motion, one hand, wherever's comfortable for you. And I want you to flick it up and let it hit the backboard on the way down. All right? So you saw I did it right on that one. And sometimes it's not always gonna work right, all right? You have to go through the frustrations of messing it up before you can get it right. All right, so you see how it's going up? So on that one I missed, okay? So then I adjust, okay, I was a little bit short, so I'll go a little bit farther on this one. I'll go up. All right, I missed again. I thought I was gonna hit that rubber part. All right, now this is a good drill because it focuses on form and touch and all that kind of stuff. And what I would say is you want to try to get 10 in a row. I feel like getting 10 in a row is pretty good. But then you can always do more, right? You try to beat your record every single time. So like I did 2, so I would try to get 3 on the next one in a row without messing it up, right? So once I do that, I get my form, make sure I'm comfortable with the energy flow. There's 1, all right? And I'll do this over and over and over until I feel like I got it, okay? And try to hold your follow through as long as you can. I know the ball's coming back at you. You might have to react and catch it, but just try to hold your follow through. I always say until the ball bounces, all right? So that's what you want to focus on right now, is just backboard flips. And this is something you can do against the wall. This is something you can do against basically any flat surface that you can find. So like I could go against that wall right there, and like I'll go do one right now. So if I walk over, all right? You have to kind of use your imagination for this. So I'll go kind of close to the wall. I'll get my form. I'll flick it up. All right, that was a decent one. So I'll try another one. All right, go up. Hit the wall on the way down, right? So try to practice that. And I also like to do the side of the backboard, but that's tough if that little rubber part you see, it comes up, it hits that often, and then it's hard for you to know if it's actually doing it right. So I'll try a couple of those on the backboard, all right, and then hit that rubber part, just like I said. So I'll try that again. All right, so that one I did it. So this one, you can do the side part of the backboard if you're feeling like you want to be more advanced. I love doing the side of the backboard. I'd recommend that over anything that you can hit, because the error or the margin for error is just so small. You have to do it perfect, right? And so it just makes it more difficult for you, which is always good when you want to be a great shooter, is just making things more difficult, because then you'll become better in a difficult situation. So practice those. See if you can get a streak going. You can tag me if you're on Instagram or something like that, or TikTok or Twitter, whatever you want, whatever you're on. Tag me, show me your streak. You can speed it up or whatever, so you can fit them all if you get like 100. Just show me your streak of how many you can get in a row, and then I'll see you in the next phase. All right, welcome to the next phase. This time we're actually gonna be putting the ball in the basket. So hopefully you have one when you're watching this. And we're gonna do everything that we just did, except now we're gonna focus on swishes, okay? Now when I shoot, I like to count swishes. Like when I was younger, I used to count makes, but then once you make so many, like if you can start making 20s and 30s like so easily, it becomes too hard to keep track of sometimes, but then you just wanna count swishes, because then you're aiming for more perfection, and it's less to count to, right? Because you can make 20 but only swish 3, right? So then you're at 3 swishes instead of 20 makes. And so, but you still got those 20 makes in. So I love counting swishes, and that's how I live. And I think that's how all great basketball players and shooters should live. Count swishes or don't count, you know what I mean? And I have a great video by Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, the former Chris Jackson. If you don't know who that is, hopefully I said his name right, Abdul-Rauf. Yeah, I said that right, okay. Yeah, look him up, man. I got a great video on my Instagram. He talks about precision shooting, to where like if it hits the back of the rim and comes back, like that counts as 1. You can only do that, and then if it don't hit, if it don't go all backboard and net only, no rim, like just crazy stuff, man. So I live by all that stuff. I think that's great for precision, makes you such a good shooter, so much focus needed. So let's get into these one-hand flips, swishes only. So everything we just worked on, right? Same thing. I have my foot stance, right? You can't see my feet. I want you to be able to see my upper body form, you know, and I'll back it up so you can see the whole thing at once. So same thing, right? I'm holding the position. It's comfortable. I'm not going to drop the ball. I flip it up, one switch, all right? Once it bounces twice, go get it, all right? Same thing. All right, 1, 2. All right, go get it on that second bounce. Now, as far as swishes go, it does not count if it's not a swish, all right? Only count swishes. So, if you feel like, if you're kind of questioning it, oh, was that a swish? Did that hit rim? Did it graze? I don't know. Doesn't count. All right, if you got to question it, doesn't count. So swish, undeniable. All net, you know it's all net, that counts. All right, if you got to think about it and say, oh, I'm not sure, don't count. All right, so I'll back it up so you can see. All right, so I'm going to let you see my full body motion, my feet, my legs, everything, okay? So I'm right here in front of the rim, and you don't have to be like super close under it, but I don't want you too far back yet, honestly, so find a good distance that's close, okay? And the reason I want you close is so you can still work on your arc. The ball is going up and it's dropping down, right? And if you're closer to the rim, it's gonna force you to do that. But one thing to remember is when you're shooting it, like I don't want you to do it and then have it like barely grazing over the rim, right? I want you to give it some good arc. So if I do one, I'm here one-handed, I want you to give a good arc, all right? Let it drop down. So still give it some arc. Don't just let it squeeze over the rim, but make sure you're not too far away also. So I'll do a couple of those so you can see those reps. So I'm right here. All right, my foot stance is comfortable. I'm one-handed. I'm ready. One motion. Let it fly. 1, 2. Go get it. So that one doesn't count. That one hit rim, right? So let's see if I can get a switch. So I'll go again, right here. 1, 2. All right, and when you're on your toes, it's tough to hold balance, man. It is. You saw me walk forward a couple times, but just try to focus on having good balance. If you want, you can come up. Once it swishes, you can come back down flat-footed. So I'll do one of those so you can see an example. So like if I go about right here, all right, my knees are bent, I'm at an angle, no tension in my shoulders. I go up, back down, go get it, all right? So hold that follow through till you get those 2 bounces, and let me know your streaks, man. See if you can get 40 swishes in a row, see if you can do 100 swishes in a row. Push yourself. Every time you get a streak, try to beat it on the next one. So if you get 7, next one, and be like, all right, I gotta get at least 8 on this one. Once you get to like 12, be like, all right, I gotta get to 13 on this one, you know? Beat your streak every time and try to keep track. So I'd have a notebook if I was you and just say, okay, my streak right now is 8. I'm gonna try to beat that today. And then every week you're looking at your notebook and you'd be like, man, 2 weeks ago my best streak was only 9. And today I got 27 swishes in a row. You know you're getting better. So the best way to know if you're getting better is to keep track, all right? Keep track of your stats of what you're doing when you're practicing. Be like, okay, it took me an hour to make this many in a row. I can now I can swish 47 in a row. Now I can swish 100 in a row. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be very, very beneficial, and it boosts your confidence when you see those numbers going up. So if you're like, man, I did 80 swishes this week in a row without missing, like that's crazy. I remember when I could only do 4, you know, and it was a struggle. So just these things take time. It's going to be frustrating. I'm not going to lie. This is like learning to shoot is one of the most frustrating things on the planet, but it's worth it. It's not too frustrating to make you want to quit. And especially if you go through all the steps that I'm giving you, they're easy enough to where you'll get it, but it's going to push you. All right. You're going to be uncomfortable at times, but it's fun, man. I'm telling you, I love this stuff. So try to keep your streaks alive, compete with your friends, be like, hey, what's your streak, man? You got 9, I got 10. I'm not never letting you beat my streak. You know what I'm saying? So like, have some fun with it. All right. And I'll see you in the next phase. Now we are in the next phase, okay? We're still going to be using a basket for this. And what I want you to do, now that we have focused on everything one-handed, now we're going to incorporate the second hand, but we're not going to be touching the ball just yet, okay? So what I want you to do, I was messing with the camera quality. I'm keeping this, like this is totally real, like it's not going to be perfect, you know, I'm just doing my best. I've been doing pretty good so far, I think. Like, if you're watching this, give me some feedback, hit me up on Instagram, let me know if you're watching, be like, hey, I've loved this so far, just like let me know. All right, but now we're going to be focusing on the guide hand, right? So the guide hand is your off hand. So if you're right-handed, it's going to be your left hand is what we're going to focus on. If you're left-handed, we're going to be focusing on your right hand as the guide hand. And the guide hand, all it is the one that you're not shooting the ball with, you're just holding there, right? So what I want you to do, this is called the invisible hand, all right? We're gonna use the invisible hand drill real quick. So get in your stance, everything perfect, and I hope that now that you're in this scene, I hope that you're 100% comfortable with all the things that we have been working on. If you don't think you're good enough yet at it, I would stop it right now and I'd go practice those things for maybe another couple days before you move on to this. Because honestly, getting through this entire course should not take you 1 week. Especially if you're a beginner, I think you should be practicing these things and then come back, go to the next scene. All right, you watch this scene, now I'm in the next one. So I encourage you to go over those scenes a lot of times and make sure you're getting everything right before you're moving on. So now in this scene, we're gonna do the invisible hand. What that is, you're gonna do everything that we just practiced, one-handed, get everything ready. Now, before you shoot, I want you to put your hand next to the ball without touching it, all right? Just get close, but don't touch it yet. And you're gonna do form shot, okay? Now, this is something you can do without the ball, or without the rim, without it going in. You can do it just out in open space like we were doing before. So if I were to do it out here without it going in the basket, I would get my stance ready, I'll hold the ball, then I'll put my hand there, and I'll just flip it up, all right? Now, before you get into that, you have to understand some things about the guide hand, all right? One of the myths that I'm gonna break is the thumb thing, all right? Everyone says, oh, don't use your thumb, don't use your thumb. I was a thumb shooter, man. I could shoot it pretty good when I was young. Like, I can still shoot it pretty good. Kyrie's a thumb shooter, Steph Curry's a thumb shooter. There's a lot of thumb shooters out there. I think Trae Young might be a thumb shooter, I can't remember. But thumb or not, it doesn't matter. And what I mean by that is like, okay, if I were to, I'll show you my guide hand. If I were to shoot one and I flick, and you see how my thumb went in right there? So like, I'll move out so you can see. If I were to do one, you see my thumb's in now. It started here, but it went in. That's thumb shooting, all right? And some people don't like that. I don't mind it. I don't think it matters. It's just about comfortability. Again, shooting is about being comfortable, right? So if that's comfortable for you, hey, so be it, okay? Now, another thing you gotta know about your offhand is, shout out to Paul Hoover for this tip, is touching your wrist, okay? What I mean by that is once I get the invisible hand going, I'm here. Once I let it go, I wanna touch my wrist with that guide hand, all right? It's gonna end right there. So I'll show you from this angle. If I do one, get my stance right, bam, all right? Let it go. I'm touching my wrist, all right? That's very important because it keeps everything in line, all right? If you watch Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant, they all do that thing. And I keep mentioning these great shooters because off the top of my head, I know that they do that, right? And so you gotta keep that in, okay? So once you get used to that, just do that in an open space. You can even do it with backboard flips again if you want. So you can come back up here to the backboard, you know, and put your hand right next to it and flip it up there and see, I didn't do it right on that one. I missed that one. I'll try to do one right. Just flip it up there, let it hit on the way down. You can do all those things with the invisible hand, and then you're gonna get back to form shooting at the basket, swishes only, right? And I encourage you to do those other drills with this, okay? So, now that I'm here, bringing that hand up, not touching it yet, just bam, okay? And I use this drill for shooters that shoot with like two hands. People that just like their form's off, you can't tell if they're shooting with their left, with their right. This is what I use that for, so they know their body gets used to just having their hand on the side without interfering and letting it go. It's just a guide hand, okay? And another thing about this is, what was I gonna say? I just forgot. I'm keeping this too, but yeah, just practice that over and over and get that hand to touch and just hold the follow through, all right? And so this is great for even like, I think a lot of NBA players need this. Like one of the players I wanna mention is Ben Simmons. Like I'm gonna try to send this course to Ben Simmons for free because he could be such a good player. Like he's already so good, but just imagine if he was hitting like 15, 20 footers easily. Like him and Giannis, just imagine, okay? And so I think that the discipline that comes with these reps is a lot, man. It really is. Like, a lot of players don't want to do it. They think it's boring. They get tired of it. They do like 17 reps and when are we gonna do something else? Like, this is a shooting course, so if you want to be good at shooting, this is it. This is the secret. There's no secret. The secret is there's no secret. Work. All right. So, invisible hand. Get used to that. Make sure your feet are right. Again, always check yourself. So every time you do a rep, right here, put that hand on the side. Let it go. All right, that one doesn't count because it hit the rim, so I gotta go for my swishes, right? Reset, make sure everything's comfortable. Right there, bam. All right, still didn't swish it, but work on that. Count your swishes, keep your streaks alive, and let me know what you got. See you in the next phase. Welcome to the next phase. Now we're on to two-hand shooting. And before I get into all of this, I want to say congratulations if you're this far. I want to thank you again for getting this course. This means a lot to me, man. I love teaching people how to shoot. Like, it's one of my favorite things on earth, I swear to you. So it makes me happy that you're watching this, and I hope you're learning a lot. Like, hit me up if you got any questions. Let me know if you feel like I missed anything. I feel like I'm going through every single step, you know what I'm saying? And so if you got any questions about your foot stance, or you want to send me a video and say, hey, like, there's kids that have sent me videos of their shots from different angles, and I'm like, hey, you got to do this, that. So let me know if you want some progress reports. Just hit me up, send me the videos. I'll do that 100% free, and I'll help you out. You know, that's what I'm here for. So now what we're going to do, everything we just did except two hands, right? So what I want you to do is get in your stance, just like we were, right? My feet are tilted, comfy, you know, ball's up here. Now I want you to grab the ball, put your hand on the ball, okay? And I'll scoot in so you can see. So I'm right here, right? And I like to have my hand about right here, okay? Some people is different. Some people have their hand a little bit higher. Some people have it like in front, which isn't the best because it's almost like you're blocking yourself. Some people have their hands a little bit closer, which isn't bad. But find something that's comfortable. Again, shooting is about being comfortable. There's no perfect shot. No two people on planet Earth have the exact same shot. You can't find it. If you find it, let me know. I gotta see the videos. I've never seen two people shoot exactly the same. So find what hand position works for you. Start off with one hand, you know what I mean? Put it about right here. And I like people that put their hand a little bit under. So like if you can see, my hands are kind of big, right? But the majority of my hand is underneath, like my palm is. And you can see, I'll show you like a back angle too, so you can see like where I put my hand. So if I'm here, you know, I like my hand about right there, okay? So once you get that position, now I want you to shoot. And this is where the thumb factor comes in, right? Some people use their thumb, some people don't. It's not a huge deal. I promise you it's not. If you can shoot without the thumb, great. Hey, do it, all right? But if you gotta use your thumb sometimes, that's okay. Okay, I think my battery's dead. Oh crap, this ain't good. Okay. So try that and get comfortable with it, all right? So just test it out and do some form shots without the basket. I want you to just hold it and see, get that, make sure that offhand is close, right? Make sure that offhand is touching your wrist, right? Get here and always start like this. Always start one-handed, bam, bend your knees. Then the last thing you do is put your hand on there, let it go. Let it bounce, check yourself, be like, okay, it came off the right finger, my feet felt good, it was one smooth motion, I held my follow through, my fingertips were down, it came off my pointer, my offhand was touching my wrist, everything, check everything, all right? All the time. Do another one, right here, right? Comfy, bam. All right? Now, once you think you got that down, I advise you to go through the flips again, the backboard flips, let it hit on the way down, the side of the backboard flips, or the wall if you gotta use it. Do that with two hands before you get into the swishes part, all right? So everything that we just did goes into the swishes, right? So I'm gonna go right up and I'll show you a couple backboard flips and then I'm gonna go into swishes as well. All right, so here I am, next to the backboard, right? And you're not gonna be able to see my feet on this one, you can see the upper body, okay? And I'll back it up just a little bit. I'll let you guys see the whole thing, like I ain't gonna cut. This is real, all right? Like, And I love when people do this in videos, so I feel like I gotta do it in mine where they like gotta adjust certain things. I think it's pretty cool, right? All right, so you can see the backboard. You can see my upper body. I'm close. All right, start out just how we always start out, right? One hand, put that hand on the side, bam. All right, so mine was off target a little bit, so I gotta focus a little more. Here. All right, that was a decent one. I think it hit a little bit early for me. So I wanted to hit a little bit later. So that was a good one. Hit that bottom part, hit that little rubber part, you know, and it flew across the gym, so I had to go chase it. But do those, get comfortable with them. Let me see if I can do it sideways. Let's try sideways. All right. I'll go here, hold it. All right. So mine, it tapped, right? It tapped. So practice that with two hands before you get into the swishes. All right, now we're gonna get into some swishes. Now we're gonna do two hand swishes. Everything we just worked on is gonna come together, right? Now, get your stance ready. All right, you can see my feet right, perfect. All right, my knees are bent. I'm not too close to the basket, but I'm not too far away. Put my hand up in a comfortable position. Put my hand on the side. Bam, all right? Now on that one, I messed up, right? I didn't hold my follow through long enough. So let's see if I can do this next one right. And it grazed the rim, so it doesn't count as my switch. All right? So I'm here, knees are bent, right there, hand on the side. 1, 2, go get it, right? Now on that one, I didn't touch my wrist. I got as close as I could, but I didn't touch. And when you do that, you're not always gonna touch. I just say that so you can focus on keeping your hand in, all right? Because then once you're in the heat of the battle and like in the game, it's naturally gonna happen because you just have muscle memory, right? So focus on that. And as you can see, I came up on my toes. There's one fluid motion, so I'll do another one. Right here, make sure you're starting off one hand, then put your hand on the side, let it go. All right, so that one I missed. Still hold your follow through even if you miss, all right? I'm here. 1, 2. Go get it, all right? So now that you think you got that down, we're going to go into the next part. And this is gonna be probably the last part of the most basic part of putting your shot form together, all right? And this is the best part because now you got a real shot going. Hopefully you're feeling comfortable if you're at this point. And now we're gonna add in movement with the ball and bringing it from here up into the shooting motion. All right, see you in the next phase. All right, so now we are in the last portion of the most basic, basically one-on-one shooting. We are in this last portion. This is the best part because now you got a full shot together, all right? So what we're gonna do for this part, okay? What I want you to do is the same thing that we've done all the previous ones, all right? Shoot in the open space. You don't need a rim for that. And then you're gonna do the backboard flips, and then you're gonna do the swishes, all right? So I'm gonna skip all that just for the purposes of this video, so you don't have to watch it and it be monotonous. You already know what to do if you're at this point, as far as shooting in open spaces and backboard flips. But now what we're gonna add in, right, is bringing the ball from here into your shooting pocket, and your shooting motion, I mean. Like this is your shooting pocket, this is your shooting motion, like as you move, right? So the way that's gonna work is you're gonna start off, so let's say I'm at the rim right now, okay? You're gonna start off, make sure your feet are perfect. Again, always check yourself, make sure everything feels good, make sure everything is right, okay? I'm comfortable, one hand up. Now you're gonna put your hand on the side. Now once you get to this point, bring the ball down, all right, to about mid-level, all right? Don't bring it too low, bring it about mid-level, okay? Like almost like where your chest and your stomach meet, that's about where you wanna hold it, okay? Now once you're here, you're gonna bring the ball up and you're gonna shoot, okay? Now, I wanna make some points, okay? If you've ever noticed in the NBA, all right, a lot of players bring the ball up differently, okay? Some people bring it up, you know, right on the right side, just like this. You know, some people bring it up across the middle. Like I bring it up across the middle, and I've noticed the reason people do that, okay? The reason, like me, and like if you ever watch DeMarcus Cousins, he shoots like that, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker a little bit. The reason they bring it up to this and towards the middle is because their arms are longer. Okay, I have pretty long arms, so it's like constricting to have it like right here and like go like right there. It's almost constricting for my arm. It doesn't feel smooth. So you have to find a motion that feels smooth. So what I would do is just go focus on bringing it here and focus on bringing it there, and just that's where it's going to go for you. That's where it's going to be comfortable without even thinking about, okay, where do I want to bring it up? Just find out what's comfortable. All right, I wouldn't advise bringing it up completely to the left and around, but sometimes you're going to have to bring it up like right in the middle and just go right into the top of your shot. Okay, that's how I've always shot when I was in high school. And I did go through a shooting change. The way I discovered all these things I've learned is I already knew it in high school, but once I got hurt, I hurt my knee. I ended up having surgery and I forgot everything. I didn't work on my form. I didn't work on anything. I was just hoisting it up, ruined my form. Even though I was making shots, my form had just gone completely ruined. And I finally had changed it. After about 4 years, I was just done with it. And I ended up changing my shot. I discovered the Pro Shot System by Paul Hoover. I discovered all these things, all these shooting drills that I'm giving you, and I just remembered like, oh, this is what I was doing in high school. This is why my shot was good in high school. It's because of everything I'm teaching. So always focus on your form. That's why I say all that, man. Like, form shooting matters no matter what. No matter if you're hitting 45% from three, I don't care. You still got to do form shooting the next day. All right? So focus on bringing the ball up in a comfortable position. Start right here. Always start like this. All right, this is how it's going to start for you. Then you're going to bring it down, and you're going to go back up. 1, 2, motion. 1, 2, go get it. Just like that. All right, you're going to do that in an open space. Then you're going to do your backboard flips, side of the backboard flips, wall, wherever you got to hit. And then you're going to do your swishes. All right, that last one hit the rim, right? So let's see if I can get a swish. So I'll go here, make sure my foot stance is right. Holding the ball, hand on the side. I'm gonna bring it down about mid-level, go up, 1 smooth motion. All right? Practice that over and over and over. Now that you're at this point, this is the difference maker into becoming a great shooter, right? A lot of people, they get their form down and they're like, okay, I got my form. Let's step out to the three. And they're hitting bricks all day, right? It's because they're not working on their touch. Again, shooting is about touch. Shooting is about being comfortable. Shooting is about repetition. All right, those 3 things. But you only learn, the only way to perfect your shot is close to the basket. Okay, you can't perfect your shot from out here. Out here, it's muscle memory. When you're at the 3-point line, it's muscle memory. You're not going to be thinking, okay, make sure my feet, make sure, yeah. By you thinking all that, ball is stolen. They're down court with it. So muscle memory, you got to train your muscle memory right in front of the basket. All right, it's easy. I'm telling you, this is where it's at. If you read the Pro Shot System, that it's free from me. Like, I found the Paul Hoover book. I have the book. Ask me, it's a PDF. I'll send it to you. Quick link, 2 seconds. Text me, or I'll send it to you right now. Just text me. But form shooting is the difference between good and great shooters. All right. Now, you might be able to make a few out here without doing form shooting. Like, you might be like I'm trying to think of an average shooter. Average shooters don't even cross my mind. So, like, if you want to be a great shooter, if you want to be a Trae Young or a Devin Booker or a Steph Curry or a Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving, someone like that, form shooting is where you're going to find it at, okay? So stand here, focus on it. Get that hand, bring it down about mid-level, right up, 1 smooth motion, all right? And you want to make sure you're not pausing. Just try your hardest not to pause when you're shooting that shot. You're going to go here, there, you're going to bring it down. Now when I let it go, you don't want to go here and then go up, all right? Now you might have to do that a couple times just to get used to bringing the ball up. But over time, try to work out the kinks, all right? It's like you got to get through the misses to get through the makes. That's what I wanted to say earlier. Okay. So if you watched that last phase where I messed it up, it was like, oh, what I want to say, that was it. All right, you got to get through the misses to get to the makes. All right, you're not going to be perfect off the bat. But you got to keep working out the kinks, work out the kinks. Eventually, you're going to get it, all right? I promise. Stand here, right there. All right, for a lot of you, this is how it's going to look. You're going to go down, then you're gonna go up and you're gonna pause, and you're gonna do that. That's okay for a while, okay? That's okay. But once you feel like you got that down, try to smooth it out in one motion. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but I promise if you just work on it and film yourself too, like what I used to do is I used to film myself and I'd watch it after and be like, okay, I'm kind of messing this up. Film yourself and be like, okay, I'm still pausing, and just try to get yourself to let it go faster, all right? It's gonna be uncomfortable, but once you get to that point, your shot will become a lot smoother when you start making it from distance, okay? So get here, always start with the one hand positioning, slap your hand on the side, bring it down about mid-level, one smooth motion, all right? Now I leaned a little bit forward, my balance was a little bit off because I come up pretty high on my toes, like I almost want to jump. So it's okay if you lean forward after it hits one balance, or just hold it as long as you can, all right? You're not gonna do it perfect every time. It's the effort of trying to do it perfect is what matters, all right? So I'm here, right there, bring it down. All right, for me, I released it off my front two fingers. I didn't touch my wrist all the way completely. I was pretty close, I was like this close. I feel like I had one smooth motion, my feet were in good position. You know, I held my follow through, all right? That's how I judge myself, and I do that every single time. So I'm gonna judge myself again on this one. I'm here, bring it about mid-level, up, one smooth motion, 1, 2, all right, still barely touched my wrist. I think it came off my middle finger, too wide almost, so I gotta bring it back to my pointer. And I'll do another one, right? Just like that, all right? So you see how I'm going through these? I'm trying to make sure that I'm always doing it right, all right? Now I've been hitting rim a lot. I'm gonna see if I can get a swish, all right? Always remember, count swishes only. So I'm here, I'll back up so you can see my feet. I'm here, bam, bring it down, right there, all right? Still haven't got my swish yet, but that's all right? You gotta get the effort in. You gotta try to get those swishes, all right? And remember, everything is gonna be uncomfortable if you have not done it before. So don't say, oh, this doesn't feel right. That means it doesn't work. Like, nothing has ever felt right on the first try, right? So just do it a couple times. If over time you're doing it and then it's starting to feel a little bit wrong, then make your adjustments. But try some things even though it's uncomfortable, and then you can adjust just a little bit here and there, right? So everything we have learned has been close to the basket. And that's just the way to learn shooting. Like, I've never taught anyone how to shoot from the three-point line on day one. Like, I always teach close to the basket. If you listen to Steph Curry, he said his dad taught him, stay close to that basket, then work your way out. All right, that's just how it works. That is what I learned as a kid. That's what every great shooter has learned as a kid, I promise, all right? So start close, work your way out, make sure your hand position is in the right place, make sure everything is good, all right? So what I want you to do now that you're in this phase is I want you to take a video of your shot and send it to me, all right? And let me know if you want some pointers, if there's any tips I can give. And congratulations on making it through this phase. Hopefully your jump shot feels comfortable now, especially after you practice this. Just do this over and over and over, right in front of the rim. And you can go to the side of the rim if you want. Like, I'll bring the camera out, I'll show you this whole movement. Super real. Right, so I'll bring it out here, okay? Sit about right there. All right, so, and you can go from the side of the rim if you want, just to change it up a little bit, but I want you close, all right? So I'm here, I'm there, bring it up, 1, 2, bam. You can go to the other side if you want, all right? I'm here. There. That one was off. You know, I felt it I felt like it was just off center. I wasn't holding it right. You know, so that's how I kind of judge myself. And I'll do another one. Make sure my feet are good. So now you have to have more focus, right? I'm here. Ball's there. I bring it down about mid-level. Bam. All right. So you notice after I adjust myself, after I think about what I've done, I do it right on the next one. So just because you mess up one rep, that's all right? Fix it on the next one. Just always be fixing, always be working on it, always be tweaking it, all right? Always judge yourself on your shot of what, like make sure everything's good, all right? And I will see you in the next chapter. Now you're at the part where you're between the stages of 201 shooting and basic shooting. So now you need a workout plan, right? And I'm gonna give you a workout plan that I used to do when I was fixing my shot, the same workout plan that I give other shooters that are fixing their shot, or just people that need to learn how to shoot, same thing. And this was so beneficial for me. Like this was like the ground of me making it to the next level of my shot, you know, and I could do things off the move after this. I was better at catching and shooting after this. I was better at so much after this stage. So I'm gonna give you the workout plan and I want you to follow it so then you can hopefully do this for about a month. I wouldn't say do it for a month before I go to the next phase. It's just, I'm a real big fan of slow progression because that's just the way it works. You know what I mean? Like nothing is instant. So you're not gonna watch this whole course and be able to shoot in the next 2 weeks. It's not realistic. It's not how it works. It just takes time and effort. And the more time you put in, the more reps you put in, the more effort you put in, the quicker it happens, all right? But it's not gonna be quick. It's gonna be quicker, but it's not gonna be quick. So here's what the workout plan is, right? So what you're gonna do is every single day, like this is like a daily plan. So like every day you're gonna do this and this is gonna just progress your shot. And I would rather have you do work out for an hour a day than 3 hours every other day. You know what I mean? Because even though that's more time, it's not as consistent. Like you're not getting your muscle memory down so that you don't have that rest day. And you can have a rest day. Like you can take a day off like Steph Curry. I know he takes Sundays off or something like that. That's what he said. He at least takes 1 day off from workouts a week. I know that. And that's fine if that's something you want to do. Like I wasn't that type of person. I wasn't that type of kid. I worked out every day if I could. Like I did as much as I could, you know? And so I'm not, I would advise you to be one of those people that does as much as you can, because when you get to my age, like me personally, I don't have a regret of not working hard enough. Like that's not a regret I have. I feel like I worked as hard as I possibly could. I feel like I gave it my all. I feel like I gave 100% every rep, the best of my ability. I honestly do feel that way. You know, it feels good because even though things don't pan out, you might not become an NBA superstar like that. There's a lot of luck that is involved with that and a lot of circumstances and timing and all that kind of thing. And I feel like I did as much as I possibly could, and I put all the knowledge that I had at the time to use, and you know, I lived with the results. I'm happy about the effort I gave. So I just want to pass that on to you, and hopefully you can be that type of person. So let's get into this workout. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to start off with just the regular shooting that we did right in front of the rim, and I want you to do 100 swishes, okay? Now this is gonna take some time, right? All right, as a matter of fact, I'll give you, that's kind of extreme, all right? That's how my brain thinks. So I'll make it basic for you. I want you to do 50 swishes before you move on to the next part, okay? And you're gonna do your 50 swishes right in front of the rim like we practiced, right? So you can go mid-level, and once you figure out like where your hand position is, you don't have to start like this anymore. But if you want to, that's okay, all right? I'm just gonna start in the middle. So I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna go up. All right, that one was not a swish. All right, you're just gonna do your 50 swishes, okay? Right here, right there. All right, so I was a little bit off balance, you know? And I'm just gonna try to get 50 total swishes, okay? That's gonna be the first part of the workout. So I'm here, I'm up, right there, all right? 50 total swishes. Then you're gonna move to the next part, which is, and I'm just gonna do this in one shot, so I'm gonna be moving the camera around a lot. You know, I wanna make this real for you guys. So let's go, where will you be able to see me the best? All right, I think about right here. And now I'm gonna go, actually I can just go straight to the side with it. Yeah, this is perfect. All right, so now I'm gonna go to the side, right? And I don't want you on the block. I want you a little bit, I want you like perfectly sideways with the rim. You'll go here. And on this one, you'll go up. That one will be 25 swishes, okay? So on both sides, you'll do 25 swishes. So I'll do one from here, Alright, I'll do 25 from here on me. Once I get to my 25, alright, I missed that one so I can see it. Alright. So after you make 25 on that side, you'll come to this side, 25 swishes. Make sure your form's right, you know. And you cannot count, I would not count it unless it feels 100% right, you just swish it, alright? So I'm here, about mid-level, I go up, try to make a little smooth motion, 25 from over here, alright? Once you do that, then you're gonna back up some, alright? Now I gotta see, I gotta make sure you can see this on the camera, right? So you see this second line right here? You wanna be even with it. Yeah, there we go. Even with it. So you're gonna be about right there. Have your feet right on what would be a line right there, okay? But right in the middle, okay? So that's where I want you to shoot from. You're gonna do 25 more swishes from there. All right, so I'm looking. My feet are about right on the line. 25 more, because the other ones, I was here, right, for my 50. But now, you're back a step. Here, 50. All right? Gotta get your 50. Make sure everything's right. One smooth motion. All right, I missed. But that's all right. All right, you're gonna go through that until you can get your 25. So 50 regular in front of the rim form shots. 25 on the side, right here, right there, 25 on the side, 25 over there, 25 in the middle, right? After you do that, then you're gonna use the backboard. So let me move this so you can see where I'm hitting on the backboard, okay, and where I'm standing. On this one, you're gonna stand right past the block, all right? So I'll show you exactly where to stand. All right, so you're gonna go about, make sure you got a good angle, all right? I'm gonna go about right here. All right, so I'm not on the block, but I'm one step over. I'm about where if the corner were to come out and make a line, I'm standing about right there. All right, you're gonna go up, same thing, use the backboard. All right, now a rule of thumb for using the backboard is I say hit the square, or I say hit the corner, so we'll go to this basket really quick so you can see. All right, and I'm just gonna let this roll up here. Okay, I want you to hit that corner, all right, if you can. Now, once you get to a more advanced level, you might want to go a little bit higher, or you can go right above, you know. Some people, you might shoot it up there, drop it in, but for basic level, hit that corner. I promise it'll go in, all right? So if I'm here, bam, and now I'll show you the same thing from distance, right? From that spot that I said. So I'll move the camera so you can see. All right, I'm gonna go right there. All right, and you'll be able to see exactly where I'm hitting, right? So if I'm on this rock, right here, same exact motions. Bam, goes up, hits, drops it. All right, and these ones cannot hit the rim. It just goes backboard, then net, okay? You'll do 25 of these. Same thing. Backboard, net, right? Then you'll go to the other side. Same thing, right? And I'm gonna make sure you can get this whole thing in the picture. You know, I think it's kind of cool that I move the camera around, make it like realistic. Like I said that last time, it just feels more real, right? So I'm over here, bam, I'm looking, make sure my hand's right, make sure everything's still right, just like we practiced. Go up, backboard. Now I missed that one. Gotta go chase it down. All right, I'm back. From here, back to my spot. Come up, backboard, drop it. All right, that's one. 25 from both of those, and that'll be your daily workout. All right, and then at the end, you will end. What I want you to end, this will be pretty uncomfortable, okay? Now we're going to the third line. All right, this is gonna be the most uncomfortable part. If you feel like you're shooting from this third line and it's like, it feels a little bit off, then don't do it, okay? But if you feel like you can do it without it being uncomfortable or forced, or it doesn't feel like your form is like gonna get messed up, then that's fine to shoot from the third line. That'll just be the end of this workout. And so you'll do it, you'll go here. I'm on this third, part right here. So the block is 1, next line's 2, next one's 3, right? Right in the middle, same form. Right. And on this one, I only want you to do, I don't know what I said last time, but I only want you to do 10 swishes if you can. All right, I don't want to force you out away from the basket too far, but sometimes you got to push the boundaries and then go back in, right? So you'll do a lot of stuff inside the circle, you'll get super comfortable, and then you'll go to a part where you're uncomfortable, you'll do that for a little bit, and then you go back to where it's comfortable. Keep working the comfortable spots, and then you go back, and that's how you honestly become a great shooter. That's how you get your range. So the edge of your range is where it's uncomfortable, but it's not messing you up. All right, there's a fine line right there, okay? So like if you take one more step back, it's completely uncomfortable. If you take one more step in, it's too easy, right? And that middle area is the part where you get better. All right, there's books about it. Robert Greene writes about it in Mastery. That's a great book I recommend. And it's that, I don't know what that zone's called. I can't remember the name of it, but it's just the zone of where it's a line between comfortability and uncomfortability. It's right there where they meet. All right, so if it's this third line is too uncomfortable, you can take a half step in, you can go wherever, but I say just about the third line, just judging it personally, I go here, all right, I try to get 10 swishes, all right? Just try to make sure you do everything right there, right? 1, 2, gotta go, right? And also, one thing I have to mention about the following, right? You can touch with your offhand, and then once it hits the rim or goes to the net, then you can let it down and hold it like this with one hand. So you can go up with 2, hold for a sec, let it come down. All right, that's okay. And that is gonna be the full workout, and that is gonna be the official end of chapter 1. I just wanted to give you that little bonus workout so you know what to do and you know how to get better, and and over time, like you're just gonna start moving it out. And so like the next workout, what it would be, let's say you've done this for a month and you're trying to figure out, okay, what's my next step, even though you might not be ready to like pass for the passes or something like that, then you would just do the same things and you keep extending your range. So remember what I said about that line of where it's too uncomfortable and where it's comfortable, there's a space in the middle where you need to be practicing at. But that space right there only comes at the end of your workout. So you're gonna do what's comfortable for the entire workout. So what's comfortable is being super close, being right next to the block, being a step away, you know, things like that. That's comfortable, right? And then at the end of that workout is where you're gonna get a little bit uncomfortable and you're gonna try to extend yourself and try to get better in that range, right? And so that's how you gotta always do your workouts. That's how you gotta always do your shooting things. Be 100% comfortable first, and then at the end of your workouts, the last part of your workouts should always be something that's stretching you to become better, all right? So that's how you kind of want to judge it. And eventually, you'll find yourself back at this three-point line. That might be the last part of the uncomfortability, and then after a while, you'll be able to shoot all over the court if you just follow what I said. I promise you, like, it takes time, it takes patience. Like, patience is the number one thing. I know there's players I train, they become extremely impatient with this process. And they like want to get out, why can't I shoot threes? I'm like, dude, it just takes time. Like when I was fixing my shot, it took me probably about 18 months to be able to shoot threes comfortably, like barely comfortably, right? Without it being forced. So like, and that was from changing my shot drastically. So if your shot is like just a little bit low, like right here or something like that, it's not gonna take as long. And especially if I changed my shot at like 20, how old was I? I was 24 years old when I decided to change my shot. I'm 27 now. So most people, they think once you're a certain age, you can't change your shot. That's not true. All right? I broke that myth. I have the videos to prove it. I have witnesses. I will honestly bring on some testimonials. And after this video, you can listen to all the testimonials and just listen to what they say, and it'll just ring true. So take your time, be patient. It's gonna be frustrating. That's normal. One day you might be fed up. Like the day before, I remember, I'll tell you this story. When I was working out, I'm at the YMCA right in Fallbrook, and I'm working on my game, and I still can't shoot threes at this point. I actually was done with it. I'm like, I'm done. Like, this sucks. I'm finished. I threw my ball or something. I went home. I didn't come to the gym for like a week, 2 weeks, I think. And then I finally came to the gym and I started working on my shot, and bam, I could shoot a 3. Like, you know, and I just couldn't like the 2 weeks before. So sometimes there's just almost a breaking point that you have to get to. And it's always when you think you're about to quit is when you're gonna make that switch. So whenever you feel like giving up, I promise on the other side of that is something good. So just don't give up quite yet. You can take a break if you're frustrated. You can take a couple of weeks off if you want to. Don't judge yourself too harshly and be like, oh, I haven't worked out in a month. Like, that's okay. Like, it happens. So people are people. People are human. You know what I mean? It's just how things go. So don't judge yourself too much if you feel like you want to quit or give up. I mean, everyone has gone through that. I promise you. I promise you. So especially with something like this, like shooting. So be patient. Do the work. Just focus on the work, not the results. Focus on the work, and the results will come. All right, you got to get through the misses to get through the makes, and I'll see you in chapter 2. Take 3, intro. Sound test, sound test, sound test, sound test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I wanted to hit a little bit later. So that was a good one. Testing sound, can you hear me? Another thing about this is, what was I gonna say? I just forgot. Welcome to the first lesson. Oh my gosh. So, okay. You understand what I'm saying? Sound test. But I want to do it out here, so I'm going to adjust again. Two-hand form shooting. Up, downs, yep, everything, okay. Sound test. My battery's dying.